scars remind me to appreciate the days I don't have to.
Hello.
Hey, Jim.
Hello.
Jim.
Hey.
How are you?
Morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
Good. Good. I myself am a little jet lagged. I just got back from the East Coast.
You flew in from the East, huh?
Yeah, I flew in from the East Coast and did sort of the red eye version. So I'm pretty beat up. I don't know if you saw or noticed. Sigourney was in New York, and she did a panel, which is where they interview her, and so she talked about some things. So I want to talk about that, but yeah. If Sigourney is going to go out and do these signings,
Appearances, yeah.
I want to, I want to be there, and I want to, walk behind her and pick up all the money she can't hold on to.
Exactly, yeah. All that kind of falls out of her arms, yeah.
I've heard. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to say exactly what her plans are, but
yeah,
I had a fun trip back east this weekend, and before I start talking about Sigourney a little bit, and before we start talking about some terrible movies, I wanted to say that I heard that Doug Stanhope finally came out of the closet. Did you? Did you?
No.
Have you heard? Yeah. Listen, I've known him for 5 years, and the whole bingo thing, and
that was always quite a story.
Well, when we were young, when Doug and I were young, and we were, that it was not cool to be gay. There was just no way you could be gay, and in the 80s. Nobody could work, and especially
you really did have to be closeted, and we obviously know some people who were.
Well, yeah, and anyway, I heard that Doug came out this weekend, and I think it's just nice, he's like almost whatever, he's 62 or something like that now, and after all these years, it's just like, oh, thank goodness, now he can start hanging out with his boyfriend.
Were you aware?
Yeah, of course,
I'm sure, God, Michael.
Of course, yeah. I've known him.
As long as gays have been involved in your life.
Yeah. Well,
your gaydar, I'm sure, must have.
Doug's a good friend of mine too.
Yeah.
And so always what it was. But I always think it's really wonderful when somebody can, and it happens a lot now, where somebody's been closeted for 30 years and finally goes like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, really. What's the point?
Yeah. What's the point?
Well, I remember his book, No Encore for the Donkey, and his talking about bingo in that book.
Yeah.
It wasn't a classic marriage.
Yeah.
You could say, So there was something a little weird about that, but that was Doug, so.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Doug Stanhope. Doug, I hope the rest of your life you enjoy it. I know that's a big burden off your shoulders, and so anyway, I just wanted to say that up front because Doug's a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine, and I'm just really happy for him. What?
We're going to be seeing him again.
He said he's coming in on. We don't have a. I meant to ask him. I haven't even talked to him since the announcement or whatever. I just read it. I don't know if you do you see anything when you pull up Doug Stanhope with news? Is there anything on there that comes out?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, where did he make this announcement?
Well,
how did it?
I saw it. I saw it online, and I.
Okay.
So it was just like quotes of his. So you know what it could have been? It could have been like one of the Twitter X accounts. You know how people make announcements
yeah.
and everybody in the government now, instead of talking to a newspaper, do they go to X or Twitter or whatever it is, and that's how all the politicians make all their announcements. I think it's on there someplace. Anyway, good for him. Congratulations, Doug. Now you can enjoy all the cock that you've been
dreaming about.
Dreaming about. I think there was some stuff that was going. Anyway, listen. Sigourney Weaver was in New York, and she did a signing in New York, and she talked about a lot of things, and she talked about aliens, of course, and she talked about Alien, and she also, for the first time, has ever mentioned, and she said she took a meeting, jokingly she said, I don't know whether it was Fox or Disney, whatever. She was joking about that, but she said she took a meeting about the 50 pages that what's the name of the director who was involved with that? Jim?
Neill Blomkamp?
Neil? Yeah, was it?
No, the first one. Walter Hill.
Walter Hill?
She was talking about Walter Hill's been like pushing. I thought that Walter Hill for a long time wanted Sigourney to do a version, and that was my perspective, that Walter was always out there with this idea, and I somehow along the line I had heard that they wanted to bring the aliens to Earth like Alien Earth, like they've done now. But for some, that for whatever reason that just never came together. But at her panel, which she was joined by Veronica Cartwright, which is kind of cool because we've had Veronica on our show. They talked about it, and she talked about the fact that she's kind of, for the first time I've ever heard her talk about another Aliens.
Reprising her Ripley role?
Yes. And so that was kind of exciting. And, of course, the subject of the fact that Hicks and Newt were, killed off was brought up. And, she just kind of threw her hands up like, well, that's Hollywood. And I can't, really, and then, of course, I think the conversation of the Neill Blomkamp movie came up, and she was talking about, her working with Chappie, with Neill Blomkamp on Chappie, and how Neill had pitched her an idea, and that she really liked it a lot, and that it just didn't happen. And sometimes that happens in movies, and I think the moderator of that said to her, like, well, why didn't that happen, Sigourney? And she goes, well, I'd really rather not, get into that, And somebody from the crowd yelled, Ridley Scott, and everybody started screaming, yelling, and, And if we all remember that going back, because people always talking to me about the Neill Blomkamp thing.
Well, there was some
for sure.
There was some really cool artwork that he had done that came out
Yeah.
of you and Sigourney, and half your face is like melted off from the acid attack, and it just looked really cool. His designs, his graphics designs that he made going along, I don't know exactly how it was released, how it was put out there, but it was just very cool, that picture and other ones. So I think that kind of got people excited too.
Well, people were very excited about it. They're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, it's got a lot of online chatter to this day.
And they also have, Newt at that point, he had Newt at about 25. So you take the hottest 25-year-old actress out there right now and, let her be Newt. You have Ripley, Newt, and Hicks. And that was Neill Blomkamp's idea, okay? And that, Neill called me up and asked me if I'd be interested in doing it. And I said, yeah, of course I would, yeah, it sounds like fun. But there was something about the way that Neill Blomkamp spoke to me. And it was not a very long conversation, but it almost felt dismissive. And I, kind of like, yeah, you want to be in the movie, but hey, not like, hey, Michael, like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. It was almost kind of like, I need you okay for this. And there was something about his attitude that I just really didn't appreciate. And I kind of thought, well, if I get in a room with this motherfucker, he's going to find out that he's, he ain't got no fucking control over, like Hicks, my Hicks is the one that Jim Cameron created.
Yeah.
Let's slow down there, Neill. And so anyway, that fell apart. And then, of course, Ridley Scott did, and he said he was never going to do, he did. But then he did Alien Covenant.
No, he did Prometheus first.
No, he did those first. But after the conversation with Neill Blomkamp had come out,
Gotcha.
That started to go away, and then he did Covenant. And Covenant was a little bit like the last Terminator. It cost $250 million to make, and made $35 million at the box office. Both Terminator and the Alien franchises have been dead since those big movies. Okay, and then Fede Alvarez comes along and does the movie that came out. Romulus. Is that earlier this year? Was that earlier this year?
I think it was last year.
Was it?
I think so.
Okay, well, he came out and did Romulus, and all of a sudden, Alien and Aliens in the franchise is kind of back on its feet because people went, they loved it. They're making a sequel to it. And then Alien Earth came out, and people are talking about Alien Earth being very good. Now, I know that Kaylin's got an opinion about that. Go ahead and give it.
Oh, I love the beginning of it. I thought that the first 5 episodes were fantastic. I liked where they went with it. It's kind of almost like major corporations fighting over the possession of these aliens and new technology, new cyborgs coming in. And then the 5th episode is very reminiscent of the first Alien movie. It goes back in time to show how exactly this ship carrying all these different alien species fucks up and starts attacking the crew. And it felt a lot like the original Alien. It was really good, and I was super hyped on it. And then the last 3 episodes came out, and especially the last 2, I was just very disappointed by. Very let down, frustrated, kind of annoyed. So yeah, it was kind of disappointing, the ending of it. But I was very big on it for the first, especially the 5th episode.
Yeah. So the Alien franchise is back on its feet, but I get people, and I've answered this, and I've talked about it on the podcast before. And people continue to ask me about Neill Blomkamp's idea, and I have some thoughts on it. Number one is that Neill was doing Chappie, pitched an idea to Sigourney. She liked it, okay? they obviously didn't run it through Ridley the right way. By the way, when I ran into Fetty when I was in the airport, I said, "Oh, gee, I hear you're not directing the next." For a long time, it was, if you looked at who was directing the sequel to the Aliens that he made, Romulus. He was directing it, and then about a week or two before I saw him on the airplane and he introduced himself to me, I noticed that he wasn't directing it. And I said, how come you're not directing the new one? And what he said to me was, he seemed to make a point about working with Ridley, that he was producing it with Ridley. And there was something about the way that, like he said, I'm producing it, like with Ridley. When I asked him about how come you're not directing, I'm producing it with Ridley. And I have a feeling when Sigourney started talking about her involvement again with anything futurist, anything that might happen in the future with Alien, she seemed to talk a little bit more about Alien Earth, is that what it's called?
The show? Alien Earth, yeah.
Yeah, Alien Earth. So I have a feel, and of course Ridley's name is on that, but I have a feeling, my gut tells me that Ridley Scott and Sigourney Weaver's relationship is, not as warm as you might think it might be. I could be totally wrong. But she really seemed to be like on the Alien Earth bandwagon, and I think there may be. I know there were like cast members in New York from the movie, and she was talking about that. Now I want to talk about just a little bit about Neill Blomkamp, and because people always, oh my God, why didn't they do that? That was such a good idea. Why didn't they do that?
And I just want to cut in too, because and hang on to what you're saying. Yeah. Neill Blomkamp is such a unique director. I mean, District 9 was such a fucking awesome movie. Yeah. It was so awesome. Everything about it, I love that movie. He does the follow-up, Elysium, with Matt Damon, which they couldn't handle. But and even Chappie, like his special effects and especially the way he does action, it looks so fucking cool. There's something about his movies, like they're so fucking cool looking and original, but the story of Elysium and Chappie just kind of didn't work. I don't know if you remember when we were up in Big Bear about 2 years ago, I showed you a short movie that he made for Netflix called With Sigourney. And it's so fucking cool. Yeah. It's so cool. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's called Oat Studio, and there's a bunch of different ones, but it's the first one. It's called Raqqa. Cool. And it's with Sigourney, and it's such a cool fucking movie. It looks cool.
It's not a movie. It's a short.
It's a short, yeah. But I love it. And just the idea of him and the way he does special effects, I think that's what is very enticing to fans, being like, this is a good match. This could be a good match. And I think it's just his stories of the last two. They kind of petered off. And
okay, well, let me tell you that, like, fans is one thing. Studios who have to invest $250 million, a completely different thing. So he does this first movie called what? What was it called?
District 9.
District 9, which people, absolutely adored.
I love it.
And everybody, it was like new, it was fresh, it was like nobody had seen a science fiction movie like this before. I heard that Peter from
Jackson?
Yeah, Peter Jackson was, and this could be totally wrong, was kind of involved, maybe helping him a little bit. I think they're both from that country next to Australia where Jim lives.
Neill Blomkamp is South African.
He's South African.
Oh, he's South Africa. I don't know why. I don't know why I have that in my mind. That
Peter Jackson is a producer on District 9.
Oh, he is a producer on District 9. Okay, so that had a lot of Peter Jackson in it then if he was producing it, and a lot of help and a lot of like Peter Jackson, and Peter Jackson is Peter Jackson. Okay. So, anyway, so that movie comes out and then he does
Elysium.
All right. So everybody's excited. They want to go see Elysium with Matt Damon and Jodie Foster's in it. It's got a really good cast, and it's not a very good movie. It just isn't a very good movie. And I've always said, if you can't make a hit with Matt Damon, you don't really belong.
You got a massive head start with Matt Damon.
Yeah, exactly. And
it looked fucking awesome.
Well, yeah, it looked awesome, but looking awesome is not being awesome. It just isn't. It just isn't. And so I watched Elysium and I thought, like, okay, all right. Not the greatest, what do they call it? A sophomore slump, Jim, is it? Or,
yeah. Sophomore slump.
That's kind of what I thought. And then I heard he was doing this movie with Sigourney called Chappie. And I thought, okay, well, Sigourney Weaver and Neill Blomkamp, this has got to be, And I tried to watch that. What a bunch of that. And Sigourney talks about it, and the first thing she says about it is the reviewers didn't understand what he was trying to do. That's what Sigourney said in New York. And I was like, I didn't understand what he was trying to do either, And
audiences didn't understand.
I didn't have any. I looked at that and I just kind of thought, like, wow, this guy's headed down. He's going the wrong direction.
His trajectory isn't an upward arc. Yeah.
And then I think COVID hit somewhere around that time, and then he decided.
Chappie was 2015. So,
2015.
Yeah,
okay.
There is about 5 years until COVID hits. To be fair.
Okay. Well, the next movie that I know that he did was the race car movie, where he has some good actor starring in a movie that was about car racing, correct?
Gran Turismo?
Yeah, hold on. First, he did a movie called Demonic, I'm seeing.
Oh, I think that was reasonably well received, wasn't it? No. That one was not well received. That was another fucking bomb, correct?
I didn't even know that he made this movie.
Well, there you go. Hey, there you go.
This is news to me because I'm kind of a fan of his movies.
Yeah. Well, you can pull that up, and I think you'll see that'll be a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think that was like so. This guy had gone from like hitting a grand slam to like.
That doesn't look good on Rotten Tomatoes.
Looking at what's it got?
It's got a 14 with the critics and a 17 with the audience.
Boy, we're going to start talking about bad movies here pretty soon. That was going to be what we're going to be talking about today. I just thought we'd have some fun. I just got back from New York. I haven't had time to we're going to do a kind of a Halloween thing, and I wanted to watch Josh Brolin's new movie, Weapons, and I haven't had a chance to see that yet.
We'll be talking about that and doing more horror movies next week. And just so the audience knows, I watched it. Yeah, I told Jim to watch because I thought you'd already watched it. But just so you know, next week because of scheduling, the episode probably won't come out until closer to like noon on Tuesday. So don't freak out Tuesday morning when there's not an episode. We got to record on Tuesday, so next week's episode will be a little delayed. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, so what was that movie that got the
Demonic was that one?
All right, so I mean, this guy has gone from hitting a home run to watching 3 fastballs go straight down the middle without swinging the bat. I mean that is a
mighty Casey has struck out.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there are other filmmakers that have had some pretty rough runs. M. Night Shyamalan, he started off with that Bruce Willis
Unbreakable.
Movie. Yeah, and then it seems to me he did like 5 in a row after that were pretty.
No, he hit with Sixth Sense. Sixth
Sense, of course.
But then Unbreakable, which is also fantastic. Unbreakable, that's the Bruce Willis one. I mean, that's another Bruce Willis one.
And Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay. In that movie as well.
Those two, and then what?
Hold on.
Because he did one with Mel
Signs.
Gibson, and
He
that
did
was
Signs with Mel Gibson and
Yeah,
Joaquin
then he did
Phoenix, I
Signs,
think.
which again had mixed reviews.
oh, it was terrible.
It was
And he
after.
did that-
There's
he
good
did
things
a
about
Paul
it.
Giamatti movie. What's that? The Lady in Water.
No,
or
so he had a
something
bad
like
run
that.
right after Signs.
Yeah,
After
yeah.
Signs, it
How
was-
many did he have in a row before he had a good one? Because they really let him go along. He did like 5 in a row. That were like
Yeah.
Thing Under the Water with Freddie Rodriguez.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like
That one.
Yeah, so he had
Name 'em.
He had 5 bad ones. They get worse as I go down the list. After Signs, which a lot of people can say is okay.
No, it's
the-
terrible.
there's
it had
good-
Mel
there's good-
Gibson in it.
It did,
didn't
but
it? Yeah.
there's okay
Yeah.
things about it. But it was a little silly. After that, it was The Village, which people didn't really see.
Right.
Lady in the Water, that's the Paul Giamatti one.
Yeah.
Then the next one's pretty bad. It's called The Happening with Mark Wahlberg. Do you
Yeah.
remember that movie?
No.
That's where, spoiler alert, all the plants kill people.
Okay,
And it's
all right.
very bad. Then he did a adaptation of a anime series, a cartoon series called The Last Airbender. That one was very bad. Nobody liked that one.
I think the original Last Airbender might be on the list of 100 worst movies.
I
ever
think it
made.
could be. Yeah.
Well, he followed it up with something even worse called After Earth. That was with Will Smith and Will Smith's son. Nobody liked that movie.
Yeah. That was even before Will Smith smacked
Chris Rock. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was 2013. We're talking almost 10 years before that.
So
Yeah.
and
Then he does a sort of horror
this is
found
the worst
footage
thing.
horror movie
Bounce back a little bit.
that I actually just watched for the first time recently, and I did like it quite a bit. I mean, it's a very decent found footage horror movie called The Visit.
The Visit, right?
The Visit, yeah. And then this is where he really came back, was with Split. Do you know that movie?
No.
That movie is James McAvoy,
Okay.
who has he plays like a serial killer, but he has multiple personalities.
Yes.
And he's playing like 20 different characters
wow.
and nailing every single one of them. It was this movie where I saw James McAvoy and I went, okay, this guy's good.
Yeah.
And the movie is good. And that's where he bounced back. That was Anya Taylor-Joy. Early Anya Taylor-Joy, who's a megastar now.
Yeah.
But she was in that as well. And that one was very good. So that really bounced him back all the way.
Okay. Well, good for him. I'm glad that he's made it through. It's not that many people it's not that many people.
His last movie last year, Trap, was a pretty good hit, I believe.
Okay. Well, there's a couple other movies in there that are decent. There's a movie called Old that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
There's one called Knock at the Cabin that I enjoyed. Trap I have not seen. I know that stars Josh Hartnett. I don't think it got that favorable reviews. I heard he pretty much just made that movie because it's about all these people that go to a concert and I think they get right there. And the lead singer of the band that's playing is his daughter. And
Yeah.
he, made that movie so his daughter
More or
could,
less,
be a
more or less.
musician in a movie.
Oh, good
Yeah.
for him. Oh, well, that's a nice father.
I just heard that. I don't know.
fatherly thing to do.
That is true.
I got to give him props for making a movie and then putting his daughter in it as the lead singer of some band if she wants to be a singer or is a singer. Because
His next movie looks pretty good too, and he's got Jake Gyllenhaal committed to it. So
Jake Gyllenhaal's committed to everything, Jim. Every time I talk to you, because you talk to Adam, and Adam like reads for him.
No,
he's
yeah.
committed to this one. He's committed to that one. He's committed to this one. You know?
This one I think is a pretty certain deal from what I understand.
What is it?
So
What is it?
I don't remember
It's
the
called
name of it.
Remain.
Rem-
Remain. It's a supernatural romantic thriller.
Oh, no. Is that the one you're thinking of, Jim?
It's based on an idea he conceived with Nicholas Sparks. So, yeah, I guess it's a bit of a different direction he's going on.
I heard it's pretty good. Yeah.
The movie's already been shot and it's in the can and it's pretty good, right?
I don't believe it's shot yet. I don't know.
You
I
don't
don't
know
know.
if
I
it's been
just
shot.
knew a couple of months ago that he was committed to it, and it looked like it was a go movie, greenlit movie.
Yeah, I'm seeing that it was filmed or filming began in June. It's scheduled to be released in
Okay.
October of next year. So,
Okay.
Wow. October of next year, June. Oh, well, yeah, no, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, a year from now.
So, anyway, finally, I just want to put the kind of, again, because people not only ask me when I'm out and about, they always ask me about Neill Blomkamp's idea. And the idea and the artwork that he put up is is good. It was a great idea. We should have ran it by Ridley, but still, it's a really, really good idea. What people don't realize, I don't think, is how revolutionary is not the right word, but the original Alien was, and like how like Geiger and Ridley Scott, and how what a fucking brilliant,
innovative,
innovative. Thank you. What a great fucking movie that was. And then Jim Cameron comes along, and I've always said this about Jim Cameron. It's tough to follow Jim Cameron. You don't want to do the sequel that immediate follows. Like, you don't want to do Terminator 3. You don't want to be that guy, or you don't want to be Aliens 3, which was, of course, Fincher. And and so here's the thing that I have to say about that is the set. First of all, I never read a script. I'd heard there was a script. I'd heard that Jim had read the script. We could ask him when Jim comes in, but I don't want to waste his time on that. I had too many other things to ask him. But I'd heard Jim had read a script. I never saw anything. And whatever he pitched to Sigourney, she liked. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be a good movie. It just doesn't. Just because they bring Hicks back and Newt back, and that doesn't mean it's going to be a good movie. You got to have a good story. You need to have, and just because it looks good, and Neill Blomkamp can make, an old shoe look good, but just because it looks good, and there are a lot. Prometheus is a movie that I think is a gorgeous movie, absolutely stunningly gorgeous movie.
I love Prometheus.
I don't understand it. I have no idea what it was about, but it was an absolutely beautiful. Just to watch it from a you're walking through an art gallery almost. That's what I enjoyed so much about Prometheus. So when people need to quit asking me about the 10-year-old idea that Neill Blomkamp had. And Neill Blomkamp, I think his last movie, tell me if I'm wrong, was a movie about racing.
Yeah, so it's called...
And that movie, and who was in that? Somebody kind of good.
David Harbour and Orlando Bloom was starring in
Okay,
that.
so you got...
And that's just, I don't know if you know this, that's based on the most popular racing video game series that's ever existed. Gran Turismo is a video game series that is like a realistic racing video game, and so that's like an IP. That's not like an original idea from Blomkamp.
Not like the Brad Pitt movie that came out recently. What? All right, so how much did that movie cost, and how much did that movie make?
Cost $60 million, made 122.
Okay, so he's back on the boards, back on the good for him.
Profit.
Yeah, it's been a long time for him, and
back in black. Yeah.
Honestly, if he can pull off an M. Night Shyamalan and start making, I would love to see stuff from Neill Blomkamp. I just
say that again from Neill Blomkamp.
Yeah, I really, again, Eve Elysium, not good, but obviously I like the way his movie looks. I would like to see more movies by Neill Blomkamp. So I'm really rooting for him to pull an M. Night Shyamalan here
for sure.
and keep making movies, because I might skip the demonic one, but I'm looking forward to the future of his movies.
Yeah, well, it's amazing. Guys who make films they just keep making them, and no matter if they get some that aren't as well received as others, it's just that when you it's like M. Night Shyamalan. When you come out with the two Bruce Willis movies, when you come out of the gate with that, it's pretty impossible. Unless you're Jim Cameron or Spielberg or Scorsese, it's pretty hard to follow that up, with anything that is quite that spectacular. So, and that was certainly the case with.
And look at Spielberg after Jaws and Close Encounters. His follow-up was 1941.
Ooh,
which was
ooh.
And I remember I was working for Jeff Berg at that time, and he represented the company represented Spielberg, ICM did.
Yeah.
And he represented Zemeckis and Gale, the two young screenwriters who had written that movie. They were all of 24, 25 at that time, barely out of USC film school. And I remember him on the phone with them the day after the trades, the reviews in the Hollywood Reporter and Variety came out, and they both panned 1941. And Zemeckis and Gale were kind of despondent over their poor reviews. And Berg was telling them, "Look, guys, you're 24 years old. You're barely out of USC film school, and you just had one of your screenplays made into a movie by Steven Spielberg. Take your winnings and let's move on to the next project." And for Zemeckis, that was Romancing the Stone. And then a couple of years later, they had Back to the Future going.
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Well, I was wrong. I have been on the podcast at one point, and I said that the kid from, not a kid now, of course, but the guy from Back to the Future that they used, the
Crispin Glover.
Had sued Steven Spielberg, and that's I don't think right. And I think it was Zemeckis, and it was like a producer on that.
Well, I just Google AI says Crispin Glover sued Universal Pictures.
Universal Pictures.
Yeah.
Do they put any names in there? There's one guy that still is like fighting with him about it. There's one guy who basically, is responsible for doing it, and he brings him up by name. It's not Zemeckis. It's not one of the big names. It's a producer on it. I think I would know his name, and I've heard him since now kind of give a full, this is what happened, and this is why I was so pissed. It wasn't my performance, and Bob Gale? Is there a guy named Bob Gale?
I'm not seeing anything on
Yeah, that's his writing partners, Zemeckis and Gale.
Okay. Zemeckis and Gale. Okay, I think it was Gale. I think it was. Is it Bob Gale? Is it Bob Gale? Is that the guy? Yeah. I think it's Bob Gale that still is kind of like, we didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, you did, And thank God you did that, because if it hadn't been for that, of course, I wouldn't have gotten $120,000 for them using my picture in Alien, the third one in the third Alien.
It is Bob Gale, by the way.
Yeah, Bob Gale. Yeah, Bob Gale's still like, we didn't, we didn't do it. Still fighting the bad fight. Still fighting the bad fight. Anyway, so what we were going to do today, before I got busy and went back to the East Coast, and I'm tired, but we're going to do kind of a Halloween thing, and wanted to talk about the scariest movies that we've all watched, and the best scariest movies. But we're gonna hold off on that. And I was looking at my phone.
And while you do that, I just wanted to mention too that for the past few months we've been releasing 2 episodes a week. It was an idea that I had. We were doing about an hour and a half, and I thought, hey, if we can do another half hour, why don't we just split it up into 2? Do 1 hour on, it would just be more content. And, we've been doing it, and it's fine, but it just hasn't really worked out, especially when it comes to the guests. I really started to not like breaking the guest interviews up into 2 parts.
Yeah.
And the double episodes thing, it wasn't really working out like I hoped it would. So I just wanted everyone to know that we are just going back to 1 longer episode on Tuesdays, about an hour and a half. No more splitting it up into 2 episodes a week. We're just going to do the 1. But if we have guests in, sometimes we might do a guest and one of these regular ones, something like that. But yeah, I tried out the splitting up into 2 episodes a week, and it's hard with our schedules. And so yeah, we're just going back to the 1 episode a week. So I wanted everyone to know that. Some people were asking where the Thursday episode was last week, and yeah, we're not really going to be doing that anymore. So
okay, I'm just I'm trying to find the site right now. that I want to, because it came up on my phone yesterday, and I'm not, I don't like to celebrate other people's disappointments. There's really no, there's really no reason to
Hollywood almost thrives on Schadenfreude, which is deriving pleasure from other people's disappointments.
Yeah, I know, but like from our standpoint, I mean,
Yeah, I know.
What do you really get out of it? And
there's no need to dance on someone's grave.
That's kind of the idea. But I had found a website that was.
So if you just go into our text chain, our group text chain, you sent me the link, so it'll be right there. So
send it right back to me. For God's sakes, man.
It's gonna take a minute.
You're going to use the scissors on this very unexciting part of the podcast.
Yeah, I could. Well, I just texted it back to you. So
I didn't get it.
Well, you're going to.
I'm going to. I just got it. Okay. So this is actually, and Jim, you got it too. So this is actually it came up on my phone last night, and I kind of thought like, this is kind of fun. Oh, by the way, this reminds me also of, we'll get around to it. We don't have that much time to go through all 100 movies. We'll get through a couple of them. But this reminds me of the thing they do. They did one on me on my birthday. And I see one, they do it on everybody. They do one on, like the one after me was Tom Selleck and, Michael Biehn, unrecognizable. A picture of Michael Biehn, unrecognizable from 50 years ago. Yeah, I would want to get a hold of the guy that fucking owns that podcast and I want to take him and then I want to see what he looked like. He was probably like 3 years old, and he probably looks a little fucking different too. What do they expect, people to like not age after 50 years? Yeah, unrecognizable 50 years later.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's kind of a big site where people like you, Jim, love and I do too. I guess I like going on, but I just wanted to know if anybody had seen any of these movies, and some of them. Go ahead.
What I noticed about the article was that it's basically those movies that have less than 4% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
So this, just to clarify, is the 100 worst movies of all time on Rotten Tomatoes, according to Rotten Tomatoes. That's what this list
and
is.
What I noticed was that they start off by talking about the new War of the Worlds that Ice Cube is in. And I thought, well, that's interesting because the one that was made 30 years ago with Steven Spielberg and Tom Cruise, I would also put in a list of 100 worst movies made, because I thought that was pretty awful.
No, that movie's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That movie's great, Jim. What are you talking about? Worst movies of all time.
You're just an old man, Jim.
Maybe it's not the best movie, but it's still pretty fucking cool, and it was very cool at the time when it came out.
Who's the little girl in it?
Dakota Fanning.
Dakota Fanning. What, honey? What?
I couldn't get through a half hour of it, and I thought the other science fiction movie they
listen, Jim. Listen, can I give you some advice?
What?
A lot of times I hear from you, I couldn't get through fucking the first 30 minutes of it. Like, you know what? Sometimes when you're having trouble with the first 30 minutes, you might want to watch the second 30 minutes of it, and it might start pulling itself to. First 30 minutes of that movie is him just coming home from work and shuffling around and picking up his daughter from his ex-wife, and it's before anything even happens, correct?
No, I made it into when things started to happen, but I just
okay.
It just wasn't.
Well, yeah,
that
I mean,
interesting to
you're
me,
right.
but-
He comes home, he's picking up his ex-wife, he's dealing with it, and then the aliens come down and they start fucking attacking everybody. What else do you want out of the first 30 minutes, Jim? What aren't you getting about aliens are invading and killing everybody? I'm busting your
silence, silence for the Jim Anderson.
I just
perspective.
thought it all looked so labored and hokey, and it just wasn't carrying me along.
Well, listen,
I had a very similar reaction to the other movie that they made together, the science fiction movie they made together, Minority Report.
Oh yeah, you had the same reaction to Minority. You're crazy, Jim. Minority Report is so awesome. What are you talking? Come on, Jim. Minority Report fucking rules.
Look it up on. Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes has to say about Minority
Report.
Yeah. Let's see how old you are, Jim.
No, that's
how old we are. I'm gonna go ahead and throw myself in.
Minority Report has an 89 with the critics and an 80 with the audience.
Jim, okay.
Yeah. You might want to check some of this stuff out before you start screaming about all these terrible movies. The first one, the reason why I like this list is they're not just, I'm sure there's 1,000 movies out there that are worse than these 100, but these are kind of mainstream movies, and the reason I like kind of looking at these movies is because some of them are directed by big directors, and the very first one that comes up is I'm just going to go down the list. I might have skipped one, but the very first one that I've got in front of me is called Ballistic X versus Sever. Okay, first of all, that title should get a 0.0. If you're going to make a movie, give it a better title than Ballistic X, ECKS. What does that mean, Jim? What's it? You know everything. What's X mean? Do you know that? Ballistic X?
No, I don't know what it's supposed to mean. Sometimes it means experience.
Experience?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like user X or business X or something means user experience, but I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're using it for.
Versus Sever or Severe. SEVER. Is that Sever or
That's
Severe?
Sever. Like chop off.
Ballistic.
Yeah.
Well, that should just get a 0.0 just for the fucking title alone. I mean, that's just absolutely,
Just so those are the character names in it. So Antonio Banderas' character's last name X, and Lucy Liu's last name is Sever. So
okay. All right. Well, all right. Still, you need to, when you're going by a movie poster or something like that, you need something a little stronger. But anyway, yeah, that had Antonio Banderas and Lucy Liu, who are, very, very good people. And it was directed by somebody named Winch Kazanada. Do you know who that?
Kayo Sayananda.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go to the second one here just because I know some good names start coming up here. Anyway, the second one got, I guess when you get 0, that means that out of 1,000 reviews, you didn't get one that was go ahead and take a look at it.
I think their cutoff was 20 reviews. It had to have at least 20 reviews.
Well, I know it had to have 20. It has to have 20 to get on the star meter.
Yeah.
But some of them have got 60 reviews. Some have got 120 reviews. And when you got 0, that means that that would mean that every single review, every person that ever saw that. I mean, I think I'm on this list someplace. I might skip over it, but that that just means every single person who saw that movie thought oh, this is really terrible. But that one had an actor in it that I'm familiar with, named Edward Burns, and Ray Wise is a wonderful actor. He was the guy who was in Jim, wasn't he Jack Nicholson's buddy in the Scorsese movie with Leonardo? And
no, that's Ray Winston.
Oh, that's Ray Winston. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know who Ray Wise is?
Not offhand.
Okay, I think he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
The next one that comes along is very recognizable because it's a Nicolas Cage movie. And it is called Left Behind. I think this is somewhat new. When did that come out?
2014.
Oh, no, that's not new. Okay, well, that's not new.
I think Left Behind might be part of that kind of religious book series. There's a series of books called the Left Behind books that are enormous sellers in the Christian book market, and I think this book was an adaptation.
I can look into it, but are you sure you're not thinking of The Leftovers, Jim? Because I know they made an HBO series on it. No, okay.
No. Look up Left Behind books.
Well, no matter if there were whoever wrote the books, somebody had the bad idea of adapting them into movies, and I guess it's pretty bad. It has an actor in it that did a television series, and I was kind of around him. I think I did a movie with him. He was a nice kid, and he was in a very successful television series. His name is Chad Michael Murray. What was that series he did, Kaylin? He did a kind of an interesting television series.
One Tree Hill?
Yeah, One Tree Hill. I think that's One Tree Hill. And you might not know it. Anybody young might not know it, but it was a pretty successful show. I think it was on for quite a while.
Almost 10 years.
What?
It was on for almost 10 years.
10 years. There you go. See, here's a TV show that was on for 10 years you never heard of. And that was in the 90s.
I'd heard of it, but I've never seen it. It was 2002 to 2012.
Okay. So the next one is an Eddie Murphy movie. Okay. Can you guess which one it is, Jim?
It's the one where he plays a literary agent. Am I right? Because literary agents, having been one.
Well, it's called 1,000 Words, so it sounds like probably the one where he plays a literary agent. Yeah.
I saw that movie in the theater.
You saw it in the theater?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I went to go see that movie.
Were you by yourself in there?
No, I think I took a date to that one. Yeah.
That was the end of that relationship. What do you think of the movie? I fucking hated it. What do you think of it? I fucking hated it too. I'll say, see you later. Let's skip dinner. So fucking angry walking out of the theater. Wasted my money on that. I've never heard of it. And again, like I don't take a lot of pleasure, and I didn't have anything to talk about today. So I don't take. Now listen, the next one that comes up is Gotti. Okay, with John Travolta, and I watched this movie. It's kind of a low budgety. It was done somewhat recently, 5 years ago, maybe
2018.
2018. Jesus, that's when I know. When I was young, I was never thinking, life isn't going by that fast. Life isn't going by that fast. And then now I'll think like, oh, yeah, I just saw that John Travolta movie. That was like a year or two ago. No, it was 10 years ago, Michael. Now I'm starting to go like, life does go by very quickly.
Well, the older you get, it sure as hell does.
I guess so. But it also had Stacy Keach, who is... a lot of people might not know Stacy Keach, and a lot of people might know Stacy Keach, but he is one of the kind of underrated, very, very, very talented actors of Jimmy, your and I's generation. He's probably mid-70s right now.
He was in a lot of movies in the 70s. He was in Long Riders, the Walter Hill movie about Jesse James.
That's because he had a brother too, right?
Yeah.
He had a brother,
James Keach. I think they played Jesse and Frank James. And his brother James Keach has been in some movies. Stacy's been in quite a few, and Stacy has been the narrator of a long-running documentary series called American Greed.
I heard some guy. God, I was on the airplane. I told you on the way home yesterday, and there was some fucking guy behind me and some girl behind me, and from the moment I got on the plane until I got off the plane, these two were fucking jabbering, and they were loud. You know how like some people on planes don't have that kind of, well, let's just kind of keep our voices down. So, you know, I was actually watching, speaking of Doug Stanhope coming out of the closet, he lost his bet to me last night also. I when I get on an airplane, I take my phone and I can't get online. So I have to take my phone. I have to give it to my phone to Jennifer on the way in, and then she fixes it all up for me and hands it back to me. So, but I couldn't get the game on once I got online, and the guy next to me couldn't get the game on, but I could kind of follow the scoring, and I won that. But this is a whole different. I'm happy for Doug. Good for him that he's done his thing. Let me see. I'm going to skip the next one because I've never heard of any of these people. Oh, no. Roberto Benigni, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he? Didn't he
Life
win an
is
Academy
Beautiful.
Award?
Yeah, he did. For Life is Beautiful.
Who directed Life is Beautiful? What was that? An Italian guy or?
Yeah, the one who I think he won an Academy Award, and he jumped all over the seats and get running up to the stage.
Yeah, so that's right.
He directed it.
Remember?
What?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, he directed it. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is. I think people should learn. Like they shouldn't do stuff about Pinocchio.
Actually, Guillermo del Toro.
I know
very interesting. Yeah.
Is his Pinocchio good?
I enjoyed
it
very much.
What's the word?
And it's funny because Guillermo del Toro did Pinocchio at the same exact time that Disney remade Pinocchio with Tom Hanks. Okay. And the Tom Hanks one kind of got buried. The Guillermo del Toro one is like, it's like I don't know if it's claymation, but it's like an animated one, and it's kind of darker. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I kind of turned on the Tom Hanks one and turned it off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Francis Coppola was going to make a Pinocchio movie for years. I wonder if one of these was the one that he was developing for a long time. I think it might have been.
Who was, speaking of that, is there any word, Jim? Have you heard any word about Frankenstein?
No.
Well, that's Del Toro.
Yeah.
That's his next movie, and that I think is coming out pretty soon.
It is. Yeah,
it's coming out like next on the 17th.
Yeah. So you would think that you would have heard more about. Has it been reviewed?
I just saw a picture, like of some
scores.
artwork from the film, but I haven't really read anything
right
about
now
it.
on Rotten Tomatoes. It's sitting at 81% with the critics, with 95 reviews.
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty good. 95 reviews. Usually, they have a way these days. Hey, Jim, did you ever find out that name of that? Oh, by the way, I thought I was very interested. Did you read, Jim, about in the last day or two, while all this peace process was going on with Israel and the Hamas, that the Hamas have been fighting some group in that area that is like they call it like a clan or a gang. Have you read about that big fight that the Hamas has inside of their, with other
internecine warfare sort of thing?
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Wow.
Bunch of
I haven't heard anything about that at all. All I saw was that 20. I think all 20 hostages are out now.
No, I know the hostages are out, and I know that's really fantastic. But I was very surprised that there were big groups inside
Gaza.
Gaza that go well, you know what? Fuck you. You come in, you try to take over something, and 30 people are killed in a gunfight that takes place. And that took place over the last 24 hours or 48 hours. And that group, I thought, I'd never even heard of it. Never even heard of it. Can you see it? Are you?
Yeah, it's saying they're saying clans known as Hamulas.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty crazy. Now, the next movie we have here.
And by the way, these movies are so inconsistent because they're ranking them the Eddie Murphy movie. Yeah, they all have 0 with the critics, but Eddie Murphy has 46% with the audience, which is close to being fresh. Fresh is 60, and that's the number 4 worst. Now, the next one that we're going up to, which is number 7 worst, has 0% with the critics and 25% with the audience. So wouldn't the Eddie Murphy movie be better than Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2? So it's kind of inconsistent, this list.
Yeah, they seemed a bit inconsistent to me too. And
well, anytime you look at something like this, what are we really expecting to get a scientific view of like the worst 100 movies?
It would make more sense if the audience scores were increasing, like, because they're all 0 with the critics. So it would make sense if the audience scores were increasing.
Has anybody ever contacted you and said, "Hey, we're from so and so. What did you think of the new Eddie Murphy movie?" No. You, Jim?
no,
Nobody. Where do they get these audience scores from? With people leaving the theaters, scrawling stuff on the toilet bathroom walls?
I think they write stuff. Like, they write into Rotten Tomatoes and give their own reviews. Or they're like
usually if a movie's, you got people don't want to shit all over Eddie Murphy. So usually people, 43%, that's where most of my movies land. Right in there. And I know that, like, they're not too wonderful. I did want to get to the next one, though, which has got, like, a really horrible title called Super Baby Geniuses. Now, most people go to the movies to get away from their babies. They don't want to go to a movie to watch babies. Oh, this is the second one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, this one, again, it's got John Voight in it. And
yeah, I saw that.
And it's directed by Bob Clark. Now, Bob Clark, if I'm not mistaken, Jim, didn't he direct Christmas?
Yes. And Porky's.
Okay.
That kind of raunchy comedy from the 80s, but A Christmas Story, that much beloved.
Yes. I mean, that's almost Christmas. That movie is almost as identifiable with Christmas as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Well, at Christmas time,
Thanksgiving.
TBS and TNT run that movie round the clock, 24 hours straight. One showing after another.
At Christmas?
At Christmas time, yeah. TBS and TNT will run it round the clock.
Well, he misfired a little bit on this one.
He misfired on some other movies, too. Like Turk 182 with Tim Hutton.
Oh.
Well, he misfired on the first one. The first Baby Geniuses has a 2% with the critics and a 25, and they gave him another one afterwards.
Well, I must have made some money. Like some movies, I guess, everybody might hate them, but they, they're not going to make a second one unless it made some money.
Take a look at
poor guy. Never
12 million budget, 36 million.
Yeah,
box
so there
office,
you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of guy who goes like, yeah, fuck the critics. Look at what the people like. And goddamn well, in his gut, he's going, God damn it, I wish I could get a good review. I wish somebody. One guy, he's got like 0% on. Did he get 0% on that one too?
2% on the first Baby.
Well, he went downhill. The second one's never as good as the first one. You're always going to have a little bit of drop off unless it's a Godfather or Alien. There's always going to be a little bit of a drop off. Gold diggers. I'm only going to the people where I kind of recognize some names.
There were 2 Diane Keaton movies on that list.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's not bring that up a week after her death.
Well, 2 days after her death.
2 days after her death. Yeah, she's
that came up.
The thing of everybody, for me anyway, you always think about like Annie Hall, and like that whole thing, and then she did this thing later on, but she was so good in The Godfather too, and she was people. I always kind of forget that she was in The Godfather.
She was in all 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. Okay. Well, we won't talk about the third one because I haven't even seen that, and I didn't want to see that. But she's, she plays Michael's wife at the beginning. He's just dating her. I forget when they get married or whatever. He's dating her, and then is that when when he kills the police chief? Have they broken up by the time he goes to Europe?
No,
and has that relationship with that?
No, they hadn't broken up. He kills Salazzo and Sterling Hayden, the cop, in that restaurant, and he has to go on the lam.
One of the greatest scenes ever made in a movie.
And you remember there's a scene where she comes to the family compound, and talks to Duvall and says, "Could you give this letter to Michael?" And Duvall says, "If I take that letter, it could be interpreted as me knowing where he is. Kay, just be calm. He'll get back to you. We understand he's well, but I can't tell you anything more." So they didn't really break up. He just basically had to go on the lam. And then he marries that Italian girl, and she gets killed.
Yes.
Remember, assassinated. And then he comes back, and she's a school teacher. And there's a scene where he walks up to her just as her class is ending, and they walk along the street, and she says something to the effect, "How long have you been back?" And he says, "Oh, maybe a year or so." So some time has passed between, when they see each other in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
And that's when they get married. So
let's see if we can get through a couple more of these before we have to go. Well, and the next one, listen, it's an Adam Sandler movie called Ridiculous. But the thing about Adam Sandler's, first of all, we know from the gems, uncut gems. We know how brilliant he can be, and he makes all these movies that everybody thinks are childish, kind of silly, stupid comedies. And he makes $100 million, and everybody that's in them, he gives like Ferraris to. I mean, so
yes, he does make these silly movies, but they're great silly movies. Like they've never been. You never looked at an Adam Sandler before Uncut Gems have been like, oh, that's like a serious, maybe like a Baby's Death. But I remember this movie in particular. This was like right after he got his first big Netflix deal. They gave him like a fuckload of money to be like, hey, just make us 3 movies. And this was one of those movies.
This was one of them.
Yeah.
Well, the next one, Jim, are you familiar with a movie called Dark Crimes with Jim Carrey?
No.
The reason I knew that you were going to say that is, see, when you have Jim Carrey starring in a movie and you've never heard of it, you really don't have to have a phone in your hand telling you how bad it was, right?
No, you
because
don't.
it's Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that one surprised me when I saw it, because I'm thinking, when did he make that?
Yeah, well, now, when I see these things, and what's that word you use, the German word?
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, now I want to go back and, like, I've seen Jim Carrey be so brilliant so many times. Now I want to go back and see Jim Carrey in a terrible movie, just for, like, the experience, because, like, he's usually so good. Boy, there's, let me see that one. I don't know anybody from that one. This one is called London Fields. That sounds familiar. Amber Heard. Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah,
Jim Sturgis. Yeah, are you aware of that one, Jim?
No, I'd never heard of it before, but it caught my eye. I noticed that some of these movies are Bruce Willis movies of recent vintage.
Yeah, but I mean we've all heard. Yeah, about what Bruce Willis went through and getting fucked over by that manager, or whoever he was.
Yeah,
so
I think we know what's responsible for those movies being on this list, or at least his presence in them.
Bruce Willis
on this list.
Bruce Willis? Yeah, well, so far we haven't even gotten to any of Bruce Willis's movies. Next one is called The Nutcracker. Now, isn't that a play? Isn't that a famous play or something? Or am
Well,
I
it's
wrong?
it was
Christmas sort of.
a symphony, Tchaikovsky.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if that's what this is
I'm not sure
about.
it's the same thing
This has got
at all.
Eli Manning, Nathan Lane.
No, Ella
brilliant-
Fanning, not Eli Manning. Eli Manning is a football player.
Yeah, that's same thing, right? What's her name? How do you say
Ella
her?
Fanning,
Ella.
I think. Or
Okay.
Elle Fanning.
Ella Fanning, not Eli
Not
Manning.
Eli Manning.
Not Eli Manning. Okay, it's got her. I can't say her name. I'm just going to say the football player's name by mistake again. Nathan Lane, who has always been known as a brilliant actor who did La Cage aux Folles. He did the American version of La Cage aux Folles. I'm not a big foreign film guy, but I always suggest one of the best foreign films I've ever seen is the original La Cage aux Folles, which was a French movie, Jim. Am I not mistaken?
It was very successful and popular. And the American version that Nathan Lane did with Robin Williams was directed by Mike Nichols.
Oh,
I think it's called Birds of a Feather.
yeah.
It's
That
not called The Birdcage.
Or Birdcage, that's what it's called. Yeah.
what's the original called?
La Cage aux Folles.
Oh, La Cage aux Folles. Yeah. That is a wonderful, wonderful foreign film. And the other one that I like so much is this almost goes into like, it's not a horror movie, but it's got some brutal scenes. And I was thinking about horror movies and what movies, because that was going to be our next podcast. So I was thinking like, what movies have like disturbed me, and they're, things like Requiem for a Dream and stuff that are that are disturbing, but they're not really horror movies. And that's the same thing with the movie that I like, Jim, that starts from the beginning and goes, the French film, that I've talked to you about before, that starts at the end of the movie and then goes to the beginning of the movie. And it's,
well, the movie that I recall with that kind of approach is Memento.
No, I know. No, before. I know.
Is it called
Memento.
Irreversible?
Irreversible. Yeah.
Okay.
Irreversible is a movie that I, and I've said this many, many times before. Like I'm the easiest person to confuse in the theater is me. I need to watch 30 minutes of a movie and then walk out of the movie, pick up my phone, have my phone tell me what the movie's about, and then go back in to watch the movie, And that one is actually, that one starts at the end, and I adored that movie. I thought that was, it's got Monica Bellucci. I got to sit up.
Monica Bellucci, yeah.
Yeah, it's got, oh boy, Monica Bellucci. Who ended up with her? Oh my God, she was absolutely.
Well, Vincent Cassel until 2013.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, Vincent Cassel and I talked about
Not at all.
Yeah,
no, he's great. He's great.
Well, Vince Cassel, Jim, was on the movie that I did over in France, and this is before he broke. And I was over in France. And I was doing a movie, and I think that I had first started taking Zoloft about 2 months earlier than that, and I think that was the very first time I'd ever had a manic episode.
Okay.
And it happened kind of while I was working on that movie. I noticed I wasn't eating much. I was staying up late.
Yeah,
I
not
was
sleeping.
working as an actor. When the movie ended, I asked the director if I could stay in France and help him cut the movie. And it was, and that's the experience. And I worked with him before he was anybody. And I remember telling him how, because I was feeling so alive, and so like my manic experiences, sometimes they can be real downers with people, I guess. Mine have always been like, wow, this is fun, man. This is like I'm having a great time.
When you go to the desk at the George Cinq Hotel and say, give me your best room, and then you spend your night in nightclubs with supermodels and going out to Jim Morrison's grave.
Yeah,
that's a manic episode, I would say.
That was my trip.
Yeah, that movie of yours is called Tales of the Wild, in French, Le Sang de Chazur. thing.
What kind of does that get a 5?
It's got a 5.5 on IMDb.
Okay, 5.5.
Oh, but I did also want to just say, because we've been talking about you watching modern movies that you might like. I've recommended Hell or High Water, which you probably still haven't watched yet.
No.
But I saw one person saying, "Oh, you should watch Eastern Promises." Do you remember Eastern Promises?
What's it about?
It's about Russian gangsters in New York.
Yeah.
And Viggo Mortensen stars in it.
Yeah.
Vince Cassel is in it. Now, back when it came out, I wanna look up the actual years. 2007. So you used to get the screeners for best movies, and you got the screener. And I think you had already seen the movie, and I took it, and I watched it on my TV, and it was fucking awesome. Yeah. It is an awesome movie.
Yeah.
And I walked out to the living room. I said, "Dad, have you seen this Eastern Promises? It's fucking amazing." You went, "Yeah, it fucking sucks."
I said the movie sucks?
Yeah, you said it fucking sucks. I go, "What are you talking about? This movie's great." And you go, "Yeah, well, they're speaking in Russian half the time. How the hell am I supposed to know what they're saying?" And I go, "Well, you turn the subtitles on, right?" And you went, "Oh, no, probably should have done that."
I still don't know how to do that very well. Every once in a while on an airplane, I'll be able to figure that out. Let's see. How many have we, we're at, let's do one more, at least one more, 15 or so. And then we can pick this up again at some other point. We're still at zeros. I don't know. Let's see who's in. Milo Villamich, she's always... Brian Krause, Lisa, let's skip that one. Frank Graham, I don't know that one. Wagons East. I want to say this is something John Candy. This is what killed John Candy, didn't it? Isn't this the one that John Candy dropped dead on?
I don't know if that's the one or not. I just know it was a John Candy movie that didn't do very well.
Richard Lewis. John McGinley, who's kind of a contemporary of mine.
Yes, this is the one that killed. Yeah.
Well, you know, poor John Candy, the last movie he worked on got 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, probably because they only had him for the first 10 days of the movie.
Did you notice the Saturday Night Fever sequel, Staying Alive, made it on that list?
Well, I haven't
gone. Sylvester Stallone.
I haven't gone through that list, but first of all, Jim, that was who directed that?
Sylvester Stallone.
That's right. I mean, poor John Travolta. The outfit they had him in that movie, if I'm not mistaken, was basically a pair of dancing shoes and a leather jockstrap.
Yeah, basically. When he wasn't wearing a leotard. Yeah.
And I think that
it's a dance movie where you never see anybody's feet, for one thing.
Or feet?
Feet. You never see their feet. I mean, It was really poorly shot. And that was one of the major criticisms of the movie when it came out.
It was poorly shot?
Yeah, it was poorly shot. I mean, Stallone directed it. Yeah. But I mean, you got these dance sequences and you don't see anybody's feet.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a dance sequence. That's kind of, the key component here to a dance sequence. So
you're jumping ahead. You're jumping ahead on me, Jim. You're jumping ahead on me.
I know it's way back there on the list, but that one caught my eye when I saw it.
Here's one.
I'd forgotten about the movie until I saw it on that list.
Remember an actor named Dennis Dugan?
Oh, yeah.
And well, he directed one called Problem Child, probably his last directorial with John Ritter. I remember John Ritter, another guy who didn't die on a movie set, but said I've got some indigestion. I think I should go to the emergency room. And that was the end for him.
Speaking of John Candy too, did you see that there's a new documentary about him that just came out? There's a new documentary about John Candy on Amazon. And I started watching it the other day, but I turned it off. But I watched about the first 20 minutes of it. I'm going to go back and watch the rest. But if you're interested, it's on Amazon right now.
Wow, he's there's, and again, I this, Kaylin, and of course Jim knows this. I mean, there is no better comedic performance is duo than Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
I mean, those two are just absolutely superb, and he's never been better. He's pretty good. What's the movie where he plays the? Is it not? It's not Home Alone. He plays like somebody's uncle.
Uncle Buck.
Oh, Uncle
Buck, yeah.
Uncle Buck.
When he's messing with the washing machine. You remember that one? He's trying to get the washing machine going, and the neighbor walks in and thinks
yeah.
He's pretty funny. He's pretty funny playing Tom Hanks' brother in Splash too.
Well, do you remember in the movie that the one before this, the one we were just talking about, where his nephew is having trouble at school, so he goes down to talk to the principal, and the principal starts giving him some shit, and she's got this big wart on her face, and he says something along the lines of, "Here's a quarter. Go get a fucking chipmunk to fucking eat that thing." I forgot what the line is.
Like, yeah, here's a
line?
I think it's something along those like, "Here's a quarter. Why don't you go down and pay a rat to gnaw that thing off your face?"
He said it better than me. You know, I have a feeling that was probably improvised. I know either that or what, you're going to go cast a woman that's in the script, and then you're going to go cast a woman who's got a big thing, or they put it on her. I don't know, but that John Candy was he was really something. He was really something.
Cool Runnings is a movie that, as a child growing up, I probably watched more than any other. Just that movie. It's such a great feel-good movie. And he's not even like particularly, I mean, he's funny, but he's not playing that outgoing Uncle Buck playing trains and automobiles. He's kind of more the straight man trying to wrangle the Jamaican bobsled team. But it's just such a great, great movie.
I'm going to find a couple more. Oh, here comes John Travolta again. Well, everybody knows about Look Who's Talking Now. Was that the sequel to Look Who's Talking?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's Travolta and Christy Alley. Well, the first one did pretty well. I mean, that's basically them. What are they talking? They're using their voices with animals' faces.
Baby, wasn't it a baby that's talking or something?
That was before.
Oh, that was before this time.
That was when John Travolta was really starting to fucking feel the fucking heat. He hadn't done anything quite a while, and I think that's about the time that Quentin Tarantino stepped into his life, right around the time he had done.
That
was the year before Pulp Fiction.
It was. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, boy, he.
He was in a down period.
Well, here's one that I like, because this guy, Jason Patric, I talked about him before. I was up for Geronimo. And Walter Hill was like, yeah. And I was in there. I wasn't auditioning. I was like, talking, and this is what I'm going to do. And, blah, 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 blah. And, listen, how about you go meet Jason Patric? And I'm like, okay, And Jason Patric, he came out like big and fast, and he was like a big fucking star. He did one of the Jim Thompson novels, if I'm not mistaken. But
After Dark, My Sweet.
Yeah, he came out big and fast. So I went and I had lunch with him, and then I came back and I never got the role. And I was always like, well, fuck you, except they did cast Robert Duvall. So that's another one of those. That's another one of those where you kind of go like, well, you cast Robert Duvall. But anyway, he was this great, great looking guy. And now he's still, I guess, attractive, but he's bald. That never helps. But he did a movie with Stallone called Armor.
Yeah.
And that one didn't look like. And
he's got another movie on this list too.
Jason Patric.
Yes.
Great. That's good to hear.
Speed 2.
Which one?
Speed 2.
Speed 2.
Did you ever see that one?
No, but I bet if you
the cruise liner that won't stop.
Is it in the water? Is it the?
Yeah, it's a cruise liner, I think, that It's not a bus; it's a cruise liner. So yeah, why not?
What was the name of that actor? He was a fucking. From what Bill Paxton told me, he was a real prick. What was that guy's name, Jim? The director of the first Speed.
Jan de Bont.
Jan de Bont, yeah.
He
Is
did
that French?
Twister.
Is he was he a
Yeah.
French guy?
No, he was a DP. I think he's Dutch, and he DP'd movies like Die Hard.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what got him
Yeah.
as a experienced action director.
Yeah.
And then he jumped into Speed and Twister.
Well, yeah, and that's where Bill Paxton worked with him, and Bill said, that he was difficult, to put it mildly, and I think that we had the kid from Glory, the kid
Carrie Ellis.
When we had Carrie on, Carrie was in Twister also, but Carrie played the leader of the other group that was chasing the Twisters. Looking back at that movie was so ridiculously stupid because the tornado just kept chasing Bill Paxton and whoever that wonderful actress really was.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt. Wherever they would go, that thing would follow them, and it got to be like personal. Because
when that movie came out, the guy who was the weatherman for CNN, his name was Flip Spiceland, gave a review of the movie, and he started by saying, "No, you can't walk up to a tornado."
Yeah, well,
you can't walk up and touch a tornado. No, you can't do that.
Bill Paxton in that movie has got more Michael Biehn lines than any other movie I've ever seen in my life. And those lines include, "Let's get out of here. Go, run, go, 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 go." There's a lot of Bill Paxton screaming.
What are we waiting for? Hit the bunker.
Yeah. Anyway, let me see. How are we doing here? We got, I don't know who Matt Long is. I don't know who, Morgan J. Freeman? That's not Morgan Freeman, is it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Bo Derek starred in something.
No, that's not Morgan Freeman.
Bolero, it's called. And that's a really awful movie.
Oh, and her husband, John Derek, directed it.
Yeah.
Well, she's married to now.
Yeah.
John Corbin.
Right.
From Tombstone.
Uh-huh.
John Corbett. If there was anybody, John Corbett was so much fun. Like, people ask me, like, who do you like hanging around with? Who was the most fun to work with? John Corbett was so funny, and he was so fun to be around, and I used to hang out with him a little bit, but he's kind of this was before he was married to Bo Derek, and we've had some lively experiences together, I'll call it, He used to like to indulge a little bit in his vices, including women. And anyway, he's a wonderfully fun guy who's had a very successful career with the...
he had a couple of good runs on TV.
Yeah. Well, he had the series on, Northern Exposure, which that was on for years and years and years.
And he
didn't have that much to do in Tombstone, but My Big Fat Greek Wedding, they've done like 3 of those now.
And I think he did a couple of seasons of Sex in the City.
Yeah, he did. Very good-looking guy.
Yeah,
very good-looking
absolutely.
guy, but funny. What a funny, hysterical guy. And I remember, I was going out. I was shooting for whatever reason. What?
He was in Tombstone.
Yeah, he was in Tombstone. Yeah, that's where I was hanging out with him, and it was me and Powers Booth and him, and Stephen Lang was not so much of a part. Stephen talks about how much he drank on that movie. So I guess he was drinking before he was, like right before he was shooting. My memories of Stephen Lang was not going out with the boys at night, because I I'd go by his. We were all staying in the same hotel. I'd go by his hotel room, and he'd be like practicing, like I would call it an oboe. Like a stand up, like
a cello.
Like yes,
Yeah.
yes. He was in there like learning how to play the cello, by teaching himself to play the cello. And I'm like, I'm gonna go get hammered. That's the difference between Stephen Lang and me, is that Stephen in his downtime was learning to play the cello. In my downtime, I was like recovering from
You were playing other
but John Corbett was very, very funny. And I remember being on the set once. We were going out to shoot the scene of me that I've talked about before. I Want Your Blood and I Want Your Soul.
Yeah.
How they spent so much time with Val, and by the time they got around to me, they were losing the light. They only got a couple of shots and that turned out to be out of focus. But I might have had a drink or two before. Well, I know I did before I did that scene, just to kind of get me into that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
For whatever reason on that show, instead of carrying a backpack or instead of carrying I carried old businessmen used to carry around, a briefcase.
Briefcase,
I had a briefcase. And I remember driving to the
briefcase full of blues.
Well, that's what I had. And I remember, like, I had my script in there. I've got, like, I don't know if I had phones back then or whatever, but anything that I might have needed for the day. And for that day, it included like a fifth of fucking Jack Daniels or Johnny Walker. I think it was what I used to drink back in the day. And I remember on the way to work opening up my suitcase to grab something out, and John looking down there and going like, little Johnny juice in there, huh?
Johnny Juice.
Johnny Ringo, Johnny Juice. He called it. He's just an utterly, again, people ask me, he was so much fun, so funny, and so fun to be around. And he's an attractive guy too. And it's nice when you're around somebody like that, because, here's one with Dennis Quaid. Beneath the Darkness. Does anybody know of that one?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Okay, well, that is directed by somebody named Martin Gugu. That's what my parents used to call feces when I was a child. Gugu, whatever this guy's last name is. Teenagers discover a terrible secret when they break into the home of a mortician. Well, that's what happens when you're a teenager and you break into the home of a mortician. You can't expect much good to come out of that. Oh, here's one with Bruce Willis. Is this one of these ones that he did in later years? It's called, and this really isn't fair, Breaching Cargo? I can't see it very well.
Oh, I think Jim, something happened with Jim.
Okay, well, we can continue. Can you get Jim back? Or you want to just end the
podcast? No, it's an internet thing, so I can't get him back.
You can't get him back? Cannot get him back?
I cannot. I'm not connecting to the internet right now.
Okay, well, we've been on for 132. Let's pick this up like the next time. We're going to do I go through the whole 100 list, but I think we've had kind of a fun podcast, and we're at an hour and 32 now, and right? Or
yeah,
do you wanna,
no, we're good. We're good.
So you want to explain one more time? No, they've already heard that. Listen.
Yeah, just again, next week we're hoping to do like a horror movie themed episode, and it might just come out a little later than you're expecting. We're going to record it in the morning, then I'm going to edit it and try to put it up as fast as I can. So, Jim lost.
Yeah.
And so and if you subscribe to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, the episode will be up a lot faster than the YouTube one will. So if you want to hear it, subscribe there. It'll be up by Tuesday midday for sure. But the YouTube might take a while. So just beware of that.
Yep. All right, Kaylin, I love you. And
love you too.
Thank you for listening. I think this was a lot of fun today. I'm tired. I'm going to go home and take a nap. I'm at that point in my life where I'm it's noon and I just woke up 2 hours ago. I've already got to take a nap. So I'm going to go take my nap, and I hope you enjoy the conversation. Bye, everybody. Cue bingo.